What if when we die, we are immediately born again as a baby? What if the light that everybody talks about going toward is the light in the room where you're being reborn? What if my spirit is alive right now, inside of a newborn baby, while my body lies here, waiting to be buried? What if it really just is a circle of life? I come to you tonight simply as a fellow human being, saddened by loss, searching for meaning, and hoping that the departed is happy and safe, wherever I might be. We can all understand these emotions. Anytime we are confronted by death, whether we seek the comfort of others in the embrace of solitude, we inevitably ask, why? Why did this happen? Why did my deity take them from me? For those of you who don't deity, what's the meaning? For those of us left behind, why not me? I'm here to say the whys don't matter. I don't say this to detract from the importance of the lost here today, but only to point out that these questions are unanswerable by all of us. We simply don't know why. We don't understand why we live, and we don't understand why we die. Once we understand that we don't understand why, we can begin to ask the truly important questions about life. Questions like, how are we living our lives? And what are we living for? These are the questions that matter to me, and these are the things I think should matter to others. The answers to these questions were instrumental in shaping who I was and how I behaved, and allow for you to understand why I lived the way I chose to, rather than the way that was expected of me. To understand how we are living is important, we have to discuss two subjects very dear to my departed heart: empathy and beliefs. I asked two of my friends to contribute to this. My first was Tony Washoe, my best friend, 17 years. I asked him to tell a story that he would tell if I had died, and he said, I would tell the story of when I broke up with my girlfriend. He had just broken up with his girlfriend, Andrea. He was on the side of the street, sitting in his car, just a mess, and he called me on his phone. I immediately recognized that he was upset, and I got in my car and just drove around and talked to him until I found him. I made him get in my car, took him back to his house, and sat up talking with him, and I played video games all night until we both passed out. And then in the morning, I took him back to his car. The rest is history. Another friend of mine reminds me constantly of the time that I was hosting a party. I went outside to have a cigarette, and I found him lying in the snow, drunk out of his mind. I picked him up, got him upstairs, gave him some dry clothes, and basically tucked his drunk ass into bed. I didn't even remember doing it, but he reminded me of it the next day. And then he thanked me for it again 6 months later, and again, years afterward. It seems important that he reminds me how thankful he is. The only reason I can think that I would do these things is that I possess empathy, the ability to put myself in somebody else's shoes and imagine how they would feel in that situation. If I had just broken up with my girlfriend, I would want my friend to come get me. If I was lying drunk in the snow, I would want somebody to get me and take care of me. This is the essence of the golden rule. Treat others as you would want to be treated. This moves us into beliefs. I had no religion, no deity. Don't get me wrong, during my life, I was a Lutheran. Then I was a Buddhist. Then I was an atheist. Then I did some thinking for myself, and I realized that I should have been what I am now all along, a true agnostic. A true agnostic means that I believe that anything is possible until it's proven false. This is really the only way to view life, and it's not a religion, but an all-encompassing philosophy of the universe and everything in it and that could possibly be in it. All of our beliefs are important to us and useless to everybody else who doesn't believe them. Beliefs are not facts. A belief is any idea that hasn't been proven false. Facts are nothing more than beliefs that have been proven true. When something becomes fact, it's no longer a belief. We all know that gravity holds us on Earth. It doesn't matter if you believe it. Beliefs are not false. Beliefs have to be beliefs that are proven false become falsehoods. A belief is neither fact nor falsehood. Because beliefs aren't facts or falsehoods, people who don't believe them will dismiss them. If you believe one thing, and I believe another, I'll ignore your belief, because we don't know which of us is right or wrong. We must admit that any belief could be correct, no matter how crazy it sounds. If it were true, it would be a fact. If it were false, it wouldn't be a belief. As long as everybody agrees that that's what belief means, then we can believe whatever we want. That's what it means to be truly agnostic. When we understand how others feel and what beliefs are, we can see how many negative things fall by the wayside. Violence, hatred, religious strife, and so much more would cease to be a problem if everybody just let everybody believe what they wanted to and treated each other the same way we'd want to be treated. So nobody would ever make you feel bad for what you believe. This would make our lives more peaceful and would foster an environment of compassion and cooperation. This is how I believe we should live our lives, but you don't have to believe it. Now that we know how we should live, we can ask, what are we living for? This may come as a surprise, but it shouldn't. My answer is, what are we living for? I don't know. Nobody knows. If nobody knows, you can live for whatever you believe you should. Once you understand that nobody knows why you live and nobody knows why you die, then they can't tell you what to live or die for. I was always a firm believer in nobody knew why we lived or why we died. And so I lived for the things that I liked. I lived for the laughter I could bring to others. I lived for the thrill of success after hours of failure. I lived to learn, to read, to experience. And I lived for the moments that can't be captured with words or pictures. When you can come to the conclusions that I did about empathy and beliefs, it should be very easy to understand why I think you can live for whatever purpose you believe. That's how I live my life, and that's how I let others live theirs. The way in which we live our lives matters to those around us, and can improve our own lives as well. Taking care of my drunken friend was such a minor thing that I don't even remember it, but the importance he placed upon it made me feel good, as though if I accomplished nothing else, at least that thing mattered. It is also important what we live our lives for, but that only matters to us individually and cannot be quantified or judged by others. Only I can judge whether I thought my life was worth living, and I can assure you, I believe it was. No other opinion matters. Now that you understand what I believed, you can understand my original question. What if I am alive somewhere right now? If that's true, then you've only lost me temporarily, and if you look hard enough, you can find me again. It's an interesting idea, if you choose to believe it. Thank you.